To make a start on this blank canvas, what we're going to do is put the board here, some trunking, some metal trunking, some cable tray, some conduit, some plastic conduit and some metal conduit, all sorts of a containment what electricians use in day-to-day life. So first, what we want to do is make a plan. Right, so the plan is, basically I'll draw out on here, we're going to put the board up here, which is going to be a little Luden 4-way board with, oh, 4 ways in there, with our main isolator, so that'll be in there. And then we'll have plastic trunking, 4-inch trunking going all the way across to here, with galvanised trunking coming down here. Then out of that trunking, we're going to have some cable tray. So all sorts of containment are going to go on here. And then on this, we'll have a light that will go here, which will feed the floodlight just into there, which is going to be there, a floodlight, through into a whisker box that will come out of the plastic trunking. We might do it out of the Galv conduit, we'll see yet. And then we want a switch. So we're going to come out in plastic trunking for the first switch. And then we'll come along and we'll come out again in 20mm plastic conduit into an intermediate switch. And then we'll come out of here, out the Galv trunking, with a 90, which I'll show you bending the 90 as well, in steel conduit, into another 2-way switch. So all these switches will be controlling that floodlight, and it'll all be wired in singles. So this is a little bit different from the other videos where I've wired it in twin and earth cable. So this is more an industrial example of how you would wire 2-way or intermediate switching. So now what we've got to do is get on the board. Right, the first thing we're going to install is the trunking. So I can get the distance of the board what I want to put at this end. So we're going to install the trunking nice and neat all the way along there. I'm not going to show you how to cut plastic trunking. It's like teaching someone to suck eggs. So yeah, you can cut plastic trunking with a hacksaw. But what we want to do is get this fixed up here and then mark out evenly along there the distance. I would say every, I don't know, 400mm, 40 centimetres, to mark out on there where you're going to fix it. So let's do that. And that's easily done with a tape measure. We're going to go, well, we'll start off at 10, then 50, add 40, which will be 90, and then at the other end again, we'll do it 10. So we're a bit uneven, but at least it'll give it a good fixing along there. And then what I like to do as well is just get your square. You're going to need a square to cut this trunk in. So get a little angle on there, look. Like normally you probably do this on a workbench. I'm trying to show you on camera. So let's, oh my God. Yeah, you probably need to do it on a workbench. It's well hard, isn't it? So I just want to get it, I'm doing it on a fucking workbench. There you go, I did it on the floor. What you'll do is just mark out so they're nice and symmetrical. What we'll do as well is put a couple of holes in there, basically centre, to fix this trunk in nice and solid. So then a small hole, just because there's only going to be a small wood screw going through into this. You can also use ZEBs and 6mm if you're going to fix it to Unistrut as well, but we're just fixing it to wood on here. So, nice small hole. There we go. Spot on, get rid of that. So when it goes back nice and flat. Which will fix it along the top there. So let's get some screws. And I'd say this is where the advantage when you've got plenty of pockets. Because I can get the little screw tub, stick it in my pocket, and get them nice and easy. There we go. Use my mouth. And put this up here. With the plastic trunking, once you've got one in, you can get basically nice and straight. Because what we can do is put the level on it to make sure that it goes up straight. Another one this end. And then put all the screws in to make sure it's fixed, nice and secure. Bollocks. This is where it's an advantage to have a magnetic driver bit, because then you can hold your screws on it whilst putting it inside the trunking. And although sometimes it do fall off, it just makes your life a little bit easier. And then what we're going to fit up in this corner is a little Luden board. And with these boards, yes, you can knock out the top, because I'm going to put some bushes and lock nuts going into the trunking, but I'm gonna get the mains cables coming through the back. And with this, you want to put in something to protect the cables going through. You can put them in, simply pop them in this way. There you go. But the only thing is with this install is when you fix it back and you drill it back, it's going to pop it back out. So the advantage of these, you can put them in the other way, which is fine. So I'm going to put them in the back entry, so they go in that way, just to protect the cables that come through the hole. So there we go. And that'll fit back there nice and neat, and however much you drill it back, it's not going to pop them out. So where's my knife? So for this, where it's going to come through is this one. All you want to do is get your knife and chop the bits off what you want to go through. And there we go. Maybe just to be that little bit more. Get a bit of a file. File them down. I don't think it matters. It makes it a little bit smoother as well. But then to go into this, we're going to use some lock rings. So in this board as well, you have a knockout. So we're going to use that knockout. Mark out where we're going to put this board. So let's use this. That'll fit on the end of there, nice and neat. And I'd just like to mark where I'm going to drill the holes, even though it's into wood. But you can mark out where you're going to drill your holes to fix the board, where you want to drill your holes for the mains to come through, and then also mark into the trunking. When it's up there, you can mark that hole to where you want to cut your hole for the cables to go out into the containment. And to drill out a 25mm hole in this plastic trunking, I'm just going to use cone cutter. So, cut up here, go to the centre, And then make sure your 25mm bush. No, bit further, next step. There we go, get rid of all that. It makes it look tidy. And then drop your 25mm bush through it like that. But because I want a little bit of space between there, because I want to be able to get the trunking lid on, what I'm going to do is put like a lock ring on there as well. There we go. And as always, give it a bit of a tighten up. Not too much on this plastic because it'll just pull it through. So then what we want is a few more screws to fix the board up. Put them in my mouth. Where, oh where did I put the drill? Oh, there it is. And then I want to fix it up onto there. So we've got a little bit of a gap. And then we can securely fix the board. There we go. Box. And then that's come through lovely into there. So now what we want to do is put the lock ring in there. And obviously tighten that up a bit as well. So then as you can see, that is where all the cables are going to come out of the board into the trunking and go wherever you want them to go. It's a little bit offset where I cut it, but that's where the main's going to come through, so I'm just going to drill a hole straight through there. And because this is wood, it's going to be perfect just to drill a 25mm hole. Also, if you've got a little hoover or a blower, blow all the crap out of it as well. Just makes it tidier whilst you're working. What I like to use, on these boards is a little clamp that clamps the tails coming in. It just keeps it that little bit neater. So, and there's two holes in the dim rail for you to do this. And this one's a Luden board, but a lot of boards, yep, they come with it. So you clamp that in there with these two screws, just to make when the tails come in, they fit into that isolator nice and neat. And what I find as well is that the board cover goes on better. So if you're going to put a board in, put that board clamp, the tails clamp in, and that will help your board cover fit on once you put it all back together. Because a lot of people moan because the isolators go wonky. You put that in, I find that, yeah, it doesn't go wonky. So then now, at this end, we're going to come down in some Galv. Yeah, we're going to come down in some Galv trunking. This is 2x2, or whatever you want to call it, but we've got to cut it to the length just to come down to the bottom of this board. Basically, what we're going to do is measure it out, see how much we need. 82, but then we're also going to make our own flange to go into this plastic trunking. So what I want to do, get your end, and then we're going to mark it off to be 82. 92, let's make sure it's 82. Yep, 82. So we're going to mark it off as 82. But then also, to get it right all the way around, get your little square on it. 82. 82. So that is where we want to cut this bit of trunking. There. And what I've set up here is my super rod. Basically it's a cable jack, and it's got these little grooves in it where you can use it to cut trunking as well, look. So I'll get this perfectly matched up. It sits in there. Perfect. And then with any trunking, give it a bit of a file, tidy it up. But we're going to make the flange out of this bit yet. So what I'm going to do, this is going to come down the side perfectly like that. So it's going to go into this bit of trunking like so. So I'm going to cut that out, and that flange will bend down so it can go and be clamped on there, and then put holes in the back so this can sit nice and neat on that bit of board, ready to be wired down nice and neat. And whenever you want to bend a bit of trunking, what I want to do is mark it. I want to cut there because that'll bend down, that'll bend along there. It's just file it. File it on that corner, and eventually it'll go through so you can bend it nice and neat. Get your grips, and there we go. You can bend that beautifully where it'll clamp on. Get rid of all the sharp edges, because if your cable gets caught on that, it's a nightmare. So what I've done here is I've put a flange and secured it with a roofing bolt onto that, which could probably be do with an earth on at a later date, just to bond it, this trunking, and then just fixed it all the way down. So whenever we come down here for any switches or sockets, we can come out of this trunking. And now we're going to do a bit of tray all the way along the bottom. So what we've done for this cable tray is we've put bits of Unistrut up so we can stick it on here. And what is normally done in industrial is we use ZEBs. So I'm going to stick some ZEBs inside this shallow strut, this one, and fix this Unistrut up. So with these, the ZEBs just fit in there on the strut. You can get long springs or short springs, but they're spring loaded, so they just sit inside so you can fix the strut on. I'll show you that now. So then now the containment is mostly in for where we're going to run our cables. So now what we want is to get the switch drops. So basically that one's going to be in trunking. That one will be, we'll put this one over here, will be in conduit, which we've got that little knockout box. These are special Paxilin boxes, well, plastic boxes, not the Paxilin ones that fall to bits. They're specially ones designed to take conduit and trunking basically. and then we'll put this one here, but we'll come out in metal conduit and do a 90, so it goes straight into that metal trunking. Right, so that's going to be your two-way switch, intermediate switch, and then your two-way switch. So all these switches will work the same light, but we need to put the box on there for the light. And with this, yes, it comes with sticky stuff on the back, but it's always nice to put a couple of screws in it as well. Sugar. Take the lid off. Put that on that. So it's fantastic having the sticky stuff on to hold it in place, but always put a couple of screws on. Because you can guarantee over time, with that sticky stuff, it's going to come unstuck. So by putting a couple of screws in, you're guaranteed that's not going to come off. So then now we have the 20mm drop down to this switch, which will be our intermediate. Right, we've got this 90 in. I lost that screw, so I had to put a screw in there straight through to the wood, which is fine. But doing this, doing industrial work for a demo board sort of thing, it reminds me why I like domestic. Cut my hand. It's a bit tricky sometimes if you don't do it all the time. So yeah, we've got that 90 and got the saddles in and ready to wire basically that switch. Right, so now all I want to do is fix this up here, because this is where the light is going to get its connections from, that's going to go in there. So let's fix this onto the box. I might fix it on there. Let's have a look. So I'd say basically the containment's in. We're going to come out of here in our cables, our 1.5 maybe singles, come down, we'll wire this, we'll wire this, we'll wire this switch all in, all to control one light that is going to go up here. So that's sort of the containment done. I don't even know why I put that in there. That's for something later on we'll do in the future. So that's where we've got all different sorts of containment. Obviously you've got your metal clad board, your plastic trunking, you've got your plastic conduit. I hate doing that, it looks rubbish, but some people want it. You've got your plastic conduit, and you've got your metal conduit with metal trunking and a bit of cable tray. So what do you want to see wired in this? My plan is for the switching and the lights, but I can use it for all sorts. So drop a comment down below and let me know what you want to see me wire in this containment. Thanks for watching, see you again.